Welcome to the Discipline Code Podcast, the show where we strip away every excuse. We believe discipline is not a personality trait. It is a decision, a standard, a code you choose to live by every single day. Today's topic is personal. We're talking about why you don't need motivation, you need structure. To get into it, I have two incredible guests. First, mindset coach Janet.
Thank you, Charles. I've spent years studying why people self-sabotage, and this topic is what I live and breathe every day. I'm excited to get into it.
Welcome, Janet. And our second guest is performance coach and former athlete Peter.
What's good, everybody? As an athlete, I learned the biggest enemy isn't competition, it's comfort. I've seen gifted people destroy their careers because they couldn't get uncomfortable on purpose. This conversation is long overdue.
And that brings us perfectly into today's discussion. You do not need motivation. You need structure. Let's paint a picture. How many times have you watched a motivational video, felt completely fired up, and by the next morning, that fire was completely gone? That's not a character flaw. That's what motivation does. It peaks and crashes. Peter, you lived this cycle. Talk to us.
I lived that cycle for 2 years. I'd have the best training session on Monday because I was fired up, then skip Wednesday when the feeling was gone. I was working hard, but not consistently. And here's the brutal truth. Consistency is the only thing that actually builds anything. Intensity without consistency is just noise.
And that's the key. Motivation produces intensity. Structure produces consistency. And consistency wins every single time. Small, consistent actions will always outperform big, sporadic bursts of motivation.
Think about it. That intense workout on Monday doesn't matter if you skip the next 2 sessions. You're not building muscle, you're just making yourself sore. It was all activity, no accomplishment. My performance was a roller coaster. Some days I looked like a star, other days I wasn't even a contender. The problem wasn't my work ethic, it was my lack of a system.
Motivation produces intensity. Structure produces consistency. That one sentence explains why talented people stay stuck. You've been optimizing for motivation when you should have been building structure.
Motivation is an emotion, and emotions are temporary. They disappear the moment life gets hard or boring. Real discipline requires you to perform when you feel nothing. Structure doesn't need your emotions to cooperate. It just executes.
So true. Peter, when did you shift from chasing motivation to building structure?
It happened during the worst training stretch of my career. My coach said something I'll never forget. Peter, the schedule does not care how you feel. Show up anyway. And it clicked. The best athletes didn't have more talent. They had better systems. Training wasn't a choice, it was automatic, like brushing your teeth. You don't motivate yourself to brush your teeth, you just do it.
That's a powerful mindset shift. Janet, you see this from the behavioral side every day. Can you share a story of a client who was trapped in the motivation cycle and how they used structure to break free?
Absolutely. I worked with a graphic designer, brilliant creative, who was stuck in a cycle of burnout and procrastination. He'd wait for inspiration to strike. Some days he'd work for 14 hours straight, creating amazing work. But those days were followed by 3 or 4 days of complete creative exhaustion where he'd do nothing. He was completely dependent on the feeling of motivation. His income was a roller coaster, and his clients were getting frustrated.
That's a powerful story. Peter, what about from the athletic world? Give us an example of talent being wasted because of a lack of structure.
I coached a kid who was, without a doubt, the most naturally gifted player I have ever seen. He could do things on the field that seemed impossible. But his entire approach was based on mood. If he felt good, he'd train like a champion. If he was tired or bored, he'd skip or give a half effort. He was all intensity, no consistency. He was eventually cut from the team, not because he lacked talent, but because the coaches couldn't rely on him. The structured, less talented players who showed up every single day surpassed him. He lost his career to comfort. It was a tragedy.
That's the mindset shift right there. So how do we build that structure? Janet, give us the practical framework.
It comes down to 3 things. First, time block everything. Put your non-negotiables in the calendar and treat them like an appointment. Second, reduce decisions. Lay out your clothes, prep your meals, make the right action the automatic action. Third, install accountability. Have a person or system that expects something from you. It raises your standard automatically.
This is all about structure, but let's play devil's advocate. Is there ever a place for motivation at all, or is it completely useless? Janet, what's your take?
That's a great question. Motivation isn't useless, but its role is specific and very limited. Think of it as the spark, not the fuel. It's the emotional energy that gets you to buy the gym membership or sign up for the course. It gets you to the starting line, but it has no power to get you over the finish line. That's where structure takes over. Motivation is a catalyst, but structure is the engine.
I'm gonna take a harder line here. I think looking for a spark is a trap. It teaches you to wait for a feeling before you act. The entire point of the discipline code is learning to operate in the complete absence of that feeling. True discipline is forged when you feel nothing, when you are tired, bored, and uninspired, and you execute anyway. Any reliance on motivation, even for a moment, is a crack in your foundation. You're building a system that depends on something you can't control. It's a structural weakness.
Time block, reduce decisions, install accountability. That's the structure code. Peter, anything to add?
Just one thing. Start small. Don't try to restructure your entire life in 1 week. Identify one non-negotiable. Lock that in first, then add the next. Structure is built 1 brick at a time, until discipline is not a battle, it's just who you are.
Discipline is not a battle. It's just who you are. That is what we're building. A huge thank you to our guests, Janet and Peter. To everyone listening, remember, you don't need motivation. You need structure. Your structure will carry you when your feelings cannot. That's the code. Until next time, stay locked in.